I just said this the other day. Someone sent me like this skit where it was like two different perspectives of something, and one was kind of like comedy and the other was horror. And it's like, and that's the thing, everyone's living in their own genre, you know, everyone's living in their own little movie. And these guys, these knuckleheads, they're like, they, you know, they're kids, they're children, and they are rewarded for this kind of behavior that is like, you know, and as we've said before, you know, already with the infrastructure we have in this country, there's not a lot of support for people that are like, I don't know, having like mood issues or whatnot. I mean, again, some of these folks get, because again, we're talking about this to like a larger thing, that this is like kind of a thing that happens. Like people like just bust on each other in all sorts of subcultures of just violence that is like, it's unrealistic. Again, it's people are just like living in these little role plays of sorts, these little weird reality games, but it's reality, you know. I don't know, man. That was a bit of a tangent. I hope it was somewhat cohesive. What am I trying to
I
say,
think
Joe?
I think that's why I enjoyed being a juggalo for over a decade,
Mm,
because the fantasy level is not realistic.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not having to go out on the streets and prove myself like if I'm trying to pretend I'm a gangster listening to hip hop. It's
right,
talking about like cutting the heads off of priests who are touching kids and stuff. You
right,
know, it's
right,
like
right. Uh,
way more far fetched, and I'm not trying to like prove myself to other juggalos by going out and performing horrible acts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which in gang culture, something I guess I was kind of skirting around, but now I'm realizing after what you said is a more solid point. Is that gang culture? There is a dimension of reality, even if some of these folks, especially some of the bigger names in hip hop and rap, for them it's not. A lot of times it's more like they're telling the stories of their cousin, or like some stories they've heard, or some of them are just straight up making it up. Some of them were in some real shit. And if you dive into the background of different artists, you can kind of find the reality of their background, whether they started at the bottom or not. And uh the thing is, there, even when they're faking it or playing a game, there's a dimension of reality where there are real gangs, there are real cartels, there are real, you know, hardcore criminals and what have you. And when there's enough reward for portraying that as real, whether or not it is, you're either getting dopamine from it, you're getting money from it, you're getting credibility from it, whether artistic or street, or just, you know, you're getting better drugs or what. um I think and also we've talked about this before too. Once you get enough money, resources, power, it goes to your head, and your head, your brain melts a little bit. And you're like, you start getting real egotistical. And
I think that's what happened to Rick Ross.